Look at this image. This isn't a cup final loss. This isn't a title race heartbreak. This is a Tuesday night in the shitty part of North London. And that kid is crying because he's watching one of the biggest clubs in the world evaporate right before his eyes. Spurs fans thought life under Thomas Frank was a struggle. They thought things could not get any worse, and they were wrong. As of today, Tottenham are the lowest of the low. They're sitting 17th with 30 points, just 1 point above the drop. They haven't won a Premier League game in the entire calendar year of 2026, and this is their worst points tally since 1914. The manager bounce they were hoping for just never happened. The new stadium energy, totally gone. The only thing left is the absolute rot of a historic club facing a relegation six-pointer that could end their 100-year top-flight stay. So we have to go back to 2023, back when Antonio Conte was the head of the Tottenham team. And he stood in a press conference and gave a 10-minute prophecy that sounded like a rant. But today, it reads just like an autopsy report. I see selfish players, but they don't want to help each other. They don't want to play under pressure. He was right. After the loss to Forest, the stats prove it. Spurs have conceded more goals from individual errors than any other team. It's not a system failure, it's a heart failure. We saw it when Igor Tudor was screaming instructions at Mickey van de Ven, and Mickey just looked at him like he was speaking a different language to him or something. Tudor tried to fix the woeful fitness he inherited from Frank with Spartan races and shuttle runs, but you can't run the Spursy out of a player. This team mentality is broken the moment they go 1-0 down. Even their one bit of happiness beating Atletico Madrid in the UCL was hollow. They already lost the tie. They were already out of it. And instead of celebrating with the fans, Tudor stormed down the tunnel on his ones just alone like he wasn't a part of the team or something. It's not the club versus the world anymore. It's manager versus fans and manager versus players. Tudor told the players to stop playing the victim and stop hiding behind bullshit excuses like black magic. But Conte then told us this would happen. He said the players are comfortable with failure because the manager always takes the fall. But is he lying? Let's look at the names looking back. Conte, Mourinho, Pochettino, Postecoglou, Frank, and they even just sacked Tudor. Different tactics, it's all the same DNA. And then there's the ownership. Conte asked 20 years, and there's the owner, and they never won something. Why? Enoch and Daniel Levy focused on the billion-pound stadium and the F1 tracks, but they never allowed the football to erode. Conte warned that the teams in the middle would slip, like Everton did. Tottenham did not just slip, they fell off an entire cliff. To be fair to Tudor, he was playing Football Manager on legendary difficulty. The injury list is pretty much an entire starting 11. They have Dejan Kulusevski out, who he just has a minor knock, but it turned into a major surgery. He was even just seen limping at the Sweden camp, so it's pretty likely he won't be playing all of 2026 as well. James Maddison, the forbidden ACL injury, he'll be out until July. And they have a whole keeper crisis going on. If you remember, recently, Kinski was traumatized after being subbed off 17 minutes into the Atletico Madrid game. But their starting keeper, Vicario, was recently playing through a hernia because they had to rely on Kinski the last time he sat out. And then on top of those names, add in Bentancur, Mohamed Kudus, Bissouma, Ben Davies, and Odebert. Those are 9 senior players out. Tudor was supposed to be the fireman. He was supposed to come in, put fires out. He saved Udinese twice. He rescued Lazio. He dragged Juve back into the Champions League. But you can't put out a fire when the fire station is made of wood and the hydrants have no water flowing through their pipes. So, I'm an Arsenal fan, and obviously a part of me is happy. And usually I'd be at the parade for a Spurs relegation. But all biases aside, I really like Thomas Frank. And watching a coach as good as him get chewed up and spat out by this culture was the first sign that this wasn't just a bad run, or it was a bad run-in with players. There's a whole system failure in here. Thomas Frank, even Igor Tudor, was not the problem. When Frank was in, he was the victim. His Spurs team was top 4 for XG created. They had players who just could not finish. He asked for January reinforcements even, and the club was super slow and indecisive, using Thomas Frank's own words. Are there any good things in Tottenham? If you search deep, the only good thing is that the mask is finally off. There's no more hiding behind a fancy stadium or a fluke Champions League run. The fans and the ownership are finally in a direct standoff. The Carabao Cup joy from the Arsenal loss is a tiny band-aid on a bullet wound. but it shows that these fans still at least have a pulse. If you want to see where Tottenham's headed though, look no further than the £40 million teenager who's already playing like a 10-year veteran. The only bright spot I see when I watch this team, Archie Gray. He's football royalty. His dad, his granddad, and great uncle all played for Leeds. To pry a Leeds crown jewel away from Ellen Road wasn't just a transfer, it was a statement. This kid is 19 and he can play literally anywhere. Right back, easy. Cooks all day. Holding mid, natural. Number 8, he has the engine in him. In a system like Ange Postecoglou's where players need to be fluid and brave, Gray is the dream player. He'll always make things happen. He has so much composure on the ball too. He doesn't panic under pressure, and for a club that's been accused of bottling it or shaking in big moments, having a teenager that plays with zero fear is a massive culture shift. If Archie Gray is the future of the club's elegance, Richarlison is the heartbeat of their fight. And let's be honest, Spurs need a villain for the long game. Before the big money move, Richarlison was the only thing keeping Everton in the Premier League. He spent years in the trenches fighting relegation battles where every tackle was a war. He didn't just play for the win, he knows what those battles are like and what the team needs, and he's one of the few players that can actually bring it. While other fans and other clubs tried and really low-key do find him annoying, Spurs fans adore him because of what he does. He does the work no one else on the team wants to do. He's always the first to press when he gets subbed on, and the first to get in the defender's face. The first to celebrate a tackle like it was a goal, and the first to shit talk when the time is right. Last season, he had a couple issues with mental health and had to take a reset, but he came back stronger, more clinical, and he became the whole focal point of the attack after Harry Kane left. And those are really big shoes to step into. After a legend like Harry Kane leaves, stepping into those shoes and filling them is impossible. But Richarlison didn't try to be Kane. He tried to be the biggest nuisance on the pitch that he could, and that is what Tottenham need right now. It's a mix of profiles that makes the whole current Spurs squad so interesting. You have the technical brilliance of guys like Archie Gray, Mohamed Kudus, James Maddison, but you balance out with the raw relegation-forced grit of Richarlison. He's a player that knows exactly what it's like when everything's on the line, that never-say-die attitude, and that's slowly going to have to become the new identity of the club if they want to stay up in the Prem. Imagine having a Ferrari, but being forced to drive it like a demolition derby. That is the reality for Tottenham right now. They have players like Xavi Simons and Matthias Tell, guys who belong on the biggest stages in Europe, yet they're currently one bad weekend away from playing at Plymouth or Millwall next season. He's been the one bright spark in his 2026. Xavi Simons is the one outlier to the squad as well, along with Archie Gray. He's been the one bright spark to this whole 2026 disaster, and he just put on a masterclass against Atletico in the Champions League, scoring a brace, but he showed the world that he is a world-class number 10. Before Tottenham signed him, I can't lie, I was out there like, if Tottenham were going to get Eze, we need... Because back when they were trying to sign Eze, I was totally under the impression that they can have Eze if we get Xavi Simons. But while he's scoring goals in Europe, Spurs have not won a Premier League game since December. It is genuinely insane that a player worth £60 million might be playing Tuesday night games in the second tier in 6 months. And speaking of wasted weapons, we have to go straight on to Matthias Tell. He's been looking dangerous, but the management has seen him as a blooper in itself. He's quick, direct, he has that goal-scoring instinct. He even scored a quick goal against Arsenal. But he's been caught in the middle of the club's identity crisis. Under Thomas Frank, he was totally isolated. And under Igor Tudor, he's starting to shine. But he just got sacked. Igor Tudor will serve as nothing more than just another blemish on the history of Tottenham, explaining why Conte's prophecy of bringing in other coaches will not solve the problem of the DNA being wrong. If Spurs actually go down, they won't just lose their dignity, they'll lose their entire squad. Players like Archie Gray, Simons, Tell, they're too good for the championship. They're good in the squad, but they're also the players most likely to be sold in the second the relegation whistle blows. This is the tragedy for modern Tottenham. They have successfully recruited the future. They got Xavi Simons, Matthias Tell, Archie Gray. These are the players any fan base dreams of. As an Arsenal fan, I would love to have any one of these 3 players on our squad. But the club is so Spursy right now that they've managed to take a Champions League level roster and put it in a relegation dogfight. If they stay up, these guys are the foundation of a whole new era. But if they go down, it'll be the biggest what if in Prem history. Tottenham's story is being written in real time. And right now, it looks like a tragedy. Tudor was the wrong doctor. But is the patient already dead? Or can De Zerbi come in and bring this patient back to life? Let me know in the comments, do Spurs actually go down, or does the fireman De Zerbi find one last miracle in the smoke? Hit subscribe for more deep dives and chaos into the Prem, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.